Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Amira's Champion Every Voice podcast, where we elevate the voices of educators who are creating meaningful experiences for our students every day. I'm really excited about today's conversation because we're talking about joy, celebration, and what it takes to build a school culture around reading. I'm joined today by Julie Bender, a teacher at Washington Elementary School in Bay City Public Schools. And she also happens to be one of our amazing Amira champions. Julie, thank you so much for being here today. And as I always say, let's get this reading party started. Welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me. It's so nice to be here, Jaclyn.
So, we just like to get started with your background so our listeners can know who's sharing today. So, just tell me a little bit about your role at Washington Elementary and what brought you into education.
Sure. So I am the early literacy coach at Washington Elementary. This is my fifth year with the district and fifth year using Amira. Prior to that, I worked for a charter school for the past 20 years. So 25 years into education. So at Washington Elementary, we had a very high population of free and reduced lunch. So we service a lot of students that this is their safe haven. They come here just to have a safe place and to feel the joy and the love of adults that they can count on. So I take that part of the reason I got into teaching is to touch those students that didn't have a voice. My decision actually was when I was like in 11th grade and I was sitting next to a student that was being bullied and I felt like I couldn't do anything. And so at that moment, I decided to become an educator so that I could make a difference for students that didn't have a voice.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that with me, Julie. That is so amazing. Like you, I found that I wanted to be a teacher as a kid, but I was like 4 and I came home from school every day and played school with my best friend. And again, teachers have special and big hearts like you and I. And so thank you for sharing that. What do you love most about teaching at your school? You shared that you love being a safe haven for the boys and girls. Well, what do you think the kids love most about being
I think the culture and the interaction with the adults that they get to see, my line for them is, I'm so glad you're here today. Your smile warms my heart. And they're to the point now where they walk up and they say, I know, Mrs. Binder, you're glad I'm here. Yes, honey, I am glad you're here. So they just know that's my line for them, that they can come and do they act out sometimes because they feel safe? Yes. Just like with my kids at home, I'd rather them act out with me and be good in public. I just know that they feel safe when they're in our building.
Thank you for sharing. So, your school is really intentional about celebrating the learning. What does celebration of learning look like at Washington Elementary?
We do celebrating learning a lot. You're right. So I'll start with because we use Amira and this is my fifth year, we do quite a bit around that celebration. So the top reader in every room, once a week, I come around with a certificate from Amira. And yes, it's a lot to put that on my plate, but I've taken it on. And when I walk in the room, I have keyed up on my phone. It's called Happy Dance by Mercy Me. I don't know if you know that song, but it's Happy Dance. And then they do this fun upbeat. And so when I walk in, they're like, oh, it's time. And then I'm like, I have an announcement. And then we play it. We all do the happy dance to see who is the top reader for the week. And they love that. I celebrate reading by encouraging the teachers. So Amira put out last year, I don't know if it's on the website anymore, but for the teachers, like you make it look so easy. Teaching kiddos to read to an AI bot is not exactly normal, but you're crushing it. Or you're reading rock star. And I throw these in their mailbox with just a little treat, little candy. And they thank me. I see them hanging in their room, which says they're appreciating that little nugget of not acknowledgement that they're doing that. We also do announcements every morning. And so we'll announce certain times, like if they meet a milestone or if we're having some kind of competition, we use the announcements. We'll broadcast that. At the end of the year, I give a certificate for any student that made it into the 100 plus. story club, the 200 plus story club, the 300 story club. And then I write right on there how many stories they read and they get to take that home. And they love that.
Bet that makes their parents feel good too. They're
Yeah.
like, wow, you read this many stories. And we get to listen to them. We get to listen to you actually reading those stories. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Um, so
My goal during the, I got one. My goal during the January, February champion meeting was to celebrate halfway through the year who's made it to the 100 Story Club with the free book. Since we are a Title I school, I have funds that I can buy new books so that I can encourage those that are reading to keep reading at home with a new book. And then they also love to read with Spot. And so we'll use that as an incentive to read to Spot. Or we do have the cutout of Amira, and they also can read to Amira in the classroom for certain celebrations.
how exciting. It seems like you have such great structures and systems in place of celebrating students. So it's not something that you guys are doing haphazardly at Washington Elementary. This is a part of your culture and who you are as a school. And that is exceptional. I'm so happy that you were able to share that. And why do you think celebrating growth, especially in reading, matters so much to children? Why does it matter so much to your students?
Because a lot of our students at Washington do not see themselves as readers. And so the more we point it out or celebrate, you read these words, you sounded out that word, it helps them feel better about themselves. I was in a kindergarten class yesterday, and in the middle of their learning, the teacher stopped and she said, boys and girls, I have an announcement. And everybody stopped and she said, Whitney can do hard things. She read this word and it warmed my heart. They all clapped and they went right back to learning. Just that little nugget of celebrating. You did something hard. You read a word. It was so fun to see. It just warmed my heart as an educator. But also, I think celebrating growth. So many kids today are extrinsic in the reason they want to. The more we celebrate it and the more we show them that they can do that, they become intrinsic and then they want to do a work for themselves. A lot of times in school, they see it as it's hard. We only read because we're in school. But if we can celebrate that and get them to see that you need reading if you're going to read a contract, even if you're a singer or football player, you have to be able to read that contract. When you go out to eat, you have to read that menu. And so getting them to understand that we celebrate reading so that you can do it anywhere you are is helping them see the importance of the reading.
It's helping them to become motivated and masterful readers. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's move over to the reading culture at your school. How do you typically set the tone for reading at the beginning of the year? What do you guys do to kick things off?
So that really setting the tone is really the principal and the teachers right within the classroom because each one has a different culture. But the principal and myself do a read aloud to every classroom. We go in and we have a theme or a book that we read aloud. The school-wide effort is whether it's the janitor or the lunch ladies, they're asking kids, what are you reading today? Tell me about your book. How many stories have you read so far this year? Like everybody is seeing it as they're, they're owning it. And so the more that everyone is on board, it just is part of our culture here at Washington.
That's exceptional. How amazing. And I can't imagine how impactful that is for your students, but even for your teammates, as you mentioned, including the custodians and the cafeteria workers in the effort to help everyone in the school embrace literacy is exceptional. And I'm so happy that you were able to share that with us. You mentioned having a strong fall rollout. What makes that rollout successful for your students and staff? And if you have any insight on how parents are supporting that.
Sure. I'm so glad you asked because this is my favorite part of Mira is the rollout. I dress up as Amira and I visit every single classroom. So the kids call me Amira in my building. Like they'll come up and say, Hi Amira, hi Amira. I love that part of my job. And then I go in and I do utilize the slide decks that are available on Amira Learning. They are very kid friendly. It gives them examples so they can actually see what it's going to look like. During the fall rollout, I meet with teachers and I make sure that they understand the reports, what they can, how they can utilize them, how they can group kids based off that. We do utilize that is one of the pieces that we help with our parents, parent report that's on Amira. We send that home so that they see and love the tips at the bottom that helps parents say, hey, here's how you can help your kid become a stronger reader.
And it's in language that our parents can understand, right? It's in parent-friendly
Yes,
language and it's multilingual as well.
absolutely. It's a great piece for the parents. Helping the kids and the teachers know that listening to the kids when they read with Amira is really important. And the more that they listen to them and help the AI tweak the speeches or the accents, the dialects, that they don't correct them as much on the tutoring. So just really helping the teachers, especially the new ones at the beginning of the year, understand everything that they have to offer. And then again, doing those read alouds to our classes as part of our rollout to getting everybody excited about the reading within our building.
Thank you, Julie. I heard you mention that as you're training the new teachers in your fall rollout, some of them might ask, why isn't Amira correcting the student for every single error that they're making? But Amira is highly intelligent and she is looking for patterns in their miscues so that she can give them the very best intervention and then make sure that she's doing that so that they can continue to make that progress as they continue reading. So in the moment intervention, micro interventions based in the science of reading. How are your teachers responding to that?
Right, especially if they're newer, they're frustrated, like they don't understand. But the more that I can coach them and as being a champion on a mirror, I have the insight and the background knowledge. Like I've listened to the CEO, listen to some of Mark. And so that just gives me the insight then so that I can share that out with them. And they realize why she's making those changes when I could share that. But I do have to say, I have to get a new Amira outfit because she is so much more modern now.
Isn't she fabulous? Isn't she
And all,
fabulous?
and all the kids say, Mrs. Finder, you need to dye your hair. I'm like, I'm working on a wig. I'll find it.
I actually get to dress up as the real life Amira.
Oh,
Yes, I do. And I actually had a chance, like you, to go into a classroom at the beginning of the year. It was in New Mexico. And I walked into the classroom, and the boys and girls were shocked. They said, Amira, did you teleport to us today? And when I was done, I thought it was hilarious. And when I was done engaging with the students, they asked, was I going back into the computer to help them continue reading as I left their class? And that was such a special moment for me. So I know what it makes your heart feel like to present yourself as a mirror to students who see her as their best friend, who believe that she can do the hard things to help them become better readers. So I'm so happy that Julie, our hearts connect in that work. And I think
yeah.
I'm gonna have to go get that purple wig too.
It's so fun. They'll say, Elvira, how come you couldn't hear me today? Or Elvira, and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I'll keep listening. Like it's so real to them, even though I miss this binder sometimes.
Yeah.
But I'm a mirror other times, but
Now,
it is fun.
you also mentioned that when you guys came back, the Amira, she kind of had a glow up, right? How did your students respond to the new Amira? Because you've used her for 5 years and you've seen how the avatar has transitioned. How are children and your teachers responding to the new look and feel of her software?
Yeah, it's so cute. Some of them are like, I want the other one. And other ones are like, she's so cute now. And it is really cute. They notice the voice and they notice her look and they're so perceptive to that.
Julie, what changes have you noticed in student engagement or confidence over time?
As I said earlier, they are really starting to see themselves as a reader. In many of our buildings, they track their progress every week, actually every day. So they see it over per week and they can see, wow, at the beginning, I only read this many stories, but now I'm faster and I can read more. And so they can see that their graphs are bigger as they go throughout the school year. I also notice that they're more engaged with the lesson because it's not foreign to them anymore. They're starting to understand, notice those words that are in front of them. They're more excited to read out loud when the teacher calls on them, or you see their hand going up, pick me, and that confidence is building within them. I also had students tell and say, Mrs. Binder, I read this paragraph, or I read with the mirror last night. And then I get to celebrate with them and keep reading like you're becoming a better reader. And so you definitely see their confidence growing the more they do it.
I think what we bring is so valuable because I was one of the students that didn't have that confidence as even a second grader. I struggled to read, and it was a teacher at the time who helped to rebuild my confidence that had basically been destroyed in first grade. And to have software now that can duplicate that for every child simultaneously, we've come a mighty long way, haven't we, over these
Yes.
last couple of decades? Let's share in any student moments that stand out to you where you've noticed a particular child whose life has been changed because they have a mirror to support them. Or maybe
Well,
even a teacher whose work has changed or improved because of a mirror.
I can think of two students come to mind. One that has the severe speech. Like it's really hard for the adults to even hear the speech or have a conversation with them because their speech is so broken. But amazing as Amira is, she's been able to pick up and track his his speaking. So the more he does it, I think the more confidence he's becoming in his words. Now this is the second year with him, and I can understand some of what he's saying. And I think that's he's practicing those words. He's repeating after a mirror. He's hearing what they should sound like. And so I know it's impacted that student. The second one that comes to mind is a student that has been working super hard and is no longer needing the services of a special ed IEP. We are able to celebrate him moving out and becoming a great reader. When I met him, he really didn't even know his letters. And so it's been 4 years, but he is now gen ed streams and not IUP. So those are the two that really come to mind that not only Amira, but the hard work of all the teachers have really impacted them.
I am so thrilled to hear that lives are changing because of the access to support that you guys are giving to students. Julie, like you, I've been in education for almost a quarter of a century, 25 years almost, right? That's crazy for us to say because it seems like we just started yesterday because we love what we do. But over this time, I've seen a lot of different software come and go, none that has provided the support to students that Amira has. And again, the confidence, the lives changing, that's a part of what we're expected to do. Happy that our listeners are going to hear our conversation, but I'm really excited that our teammates will hear it because we're challenged at Amira to make sure we don't stop until we get it right for every child. And what you're sharing is that our software is not just for the children in tiered supports, tier one, tier two, tier three. This is life changing for children who have exceptionalities, and it's giving them access and practice that they might not get otherwise. And this is life changing work that we're doing. And I'm happy that we have these stories of children who we're opening doors for. It means a lot to us. So thank you. For other schools or
I'm just actually, I really appreciate, I'm on the other end, right? And I get to see all your hard work and your efforts and how willing your full team is to listen to the educators on the side and make those changes. So thank you. Thank your team. It's great to work with you and to utilize a product that does help change lives and change students' reading abilities. So thank you.
yes, yes, Julie. You're welcome. For other schools or educators who want to build excitement around reading, even if they're not using a mirror, if they want to build excitement around reading and literacy in their schools, what advice would you give them?
As I said, being in education for 25 years, you have to love it and you have to show it, right? You have to be that actress or actor if you are a male because the kids feed off of you. The more that you show your excitement, the more that they are going to want to experience that. So I'm really a math person, but I shine my love for reading so that the kids can benefit from that. Being invested is another way that you can build that excitement. Like the more you ask them and you're invested in what they are reading, also gets them excited. Letting students choose the book they're going to read instead of saying, here, this is what you're going to read today, allows them to have that choice and that voice of, oh, I'm reading something that interests me. I'm not just doing it because my teacher told me to. Bringing it to the classroom, book talks or read alouds, or I call it speed dating for with a book, where you read a book and then you get 30 seconds to share why you liked the book and get somebody else excited about it. Or we do tasting reading where we have a book tables of certain genres and they get to go around and sample it or taste it just to see if they like that. Maybe they've never picked up a poetry book or maybe they've never picked up historic fiction. And so the more they get to see it, that's how we are building the excitement and just, again, letting them have that choice of what they're going to read.
Outstanding. What advice do you have for schools that are not sure about the use of agentic learning resources like Amira?
Try it. I say, Nike, just do it.
Yeah. All right. We just do it with every other aspect of our lives. Really.
Absolutely.
But Amira's AI is definitely different and purpose driven. But what, just do
Well,
it. That's the advice.
it really gets the teacher back some moments in the classroom because while I can only impact so many students at a time, especially during small group or independent time, Amira is giving them what they need during that time. And I can go back and listen. Actually, Amira has a report. She'll tell me what they're missing, but I can go back and listen and go, oh, they're dropping the endings, or oh, they're missing the short vowels, they have the long vowels. And so you're really getting two bangs for one, two bangs for a buck because they're still getting what they need, and I can go back and listen on my own time. But yet I can independently work with some kids in a small group. So it just the teachers that are really love it. It gives them that freedom to know that they're on something productive while they're not in front of them.
That's awesome. As a reading specialist, you get to go into all the classes and support and partner with other amazing educators. What does it look like to see teaching joy in practice?
Teaching joy practice is really seeing the joy on students' faces. That teaching joy sustains you through the challenging moments, that's hard seasons because we all have them as educators, especially we're in February, which means we're at the lowest point of our graph, right? We got to come back up. But feeling the purpose, the connectedness with the students, laughing together over a small moment.
Having those announcements that you mentioned, the Amira announcements.
Yes, in the middle of all that, definitely, that was a joy for me. Just feeling exhausted at the end of the day, but fulfilled, knowing that you laid it all out there and you are excited to get up and go back and do it again. Not everybody loves their job, but teaching joy allows you to love what you do.
Outstanding. Give me your best. Let's get this reading party started.
Let's get this reading party started.
Julie, thank you so much for sharing your experience and your heart with us today. It has been evident through this entire call that there is joy at Washington Elementary School to be found. I can feel the type of climate and culture that your students and your teachers are working in. And so your entire team, your principal, your leaders are to be commended for the efforts that you're putting behind this. Your story is a powerful reminder that when we celebrate students and create joyful learning environments, reading becomes something that children actually want to do. To our listeners, thank you for tuning in to Champion Every Voice. If today's conversation inspired you, moved you, or challenged you to share this episode, please do so with a fellow educator. I'm your host, Jaclyn Wright. This is our guest, Julie Binder, and we want you to keep teaching with heart, keep leading with purpose, and ensuring that every child has a chance to become a reader. Until next time,